Hello guys and welcome back to our next No Man's Sky review 3.6, and we did have a very small patch drop in literally a couple of hours ago, which is about 800 megabyte. No need to worry about that one. I think it was minor bug fixes. It's the stuff in the text you want to pay attention to. This is huge. This is the Frontiers update, which is basically alien bases that you oversee and manage. There's kinds of decisions to be made. This is very interesting. How is it instigated? What sort of stuff have they put in extra? Let's have a look. Just if I can, I want to touch on the performance of the game and whether I've noticed anything major changing on pop-ins, load-ins, textures, all that material. No, it's not been majorly improved, and this is on the 5 obviously, and we still do have quite a lot of pop-in. This particular planet really wound me up. It will become obvious later, but we have a distress call that comes in, you answer on your radio, and then one of the planets within the galaxy that I was already in had this beacon on it. So I'd been to this planet before. It wasn't like I got to a new galaxy and then the ping came in, I came out of the station and wham. That's what we can see over on the right here. It's kind of an introductory card. It's telling you what's required of you. So the distress call pans out to be a massive Sentinel attack, which was really epic. The Sentinels look completely different, and then balls to the wall, they came right into the room. But the issue is, this planet is worse than Jumeirah Beach Road. It is the most scorchest place on Earth. So being outside and battling these things was just a hilarity. I'm really into the Sentinels. I thought they were the coolest thing when I first played this game, and can you believe, I reckon I'm 50 to 60 hours on the PlayStation and probably about 20 hours over on the PC. I've not seen a bipedal one yet. So that is still there as a carrot for me. Once said task is complete, he becomes then available to talk to, and then you sort of realise that this whole center system has a hub on it that needs to be activated. Now, I was like, there's no way in hell I'm managing a site on what can only be described as a burning cinder. So I'm like, alright, let's check out what's going on the other planets, because it does say in those patch notes that it's to do with inhabited planets, and I was thought, I'll find one, it'll be great. And I warped to 3 other galaxies, didn't get any distress messages. Then I thought to myself, I'll nip over to my PC version, that's updated, nothing. So I don't know whether that distress call was a fluke, and whether or not your only Frontier or your starting Frontier site is chosen for you, but I had to run with this one, and it was just near on impossible to do the gathering. I did that on another planet, brought it all back to this one. Just a quick mention, I know I have spoken about this before, but there seems to be so much better neon light with the night times and a lot more planets that have rain, wind and mist on them. It's still hitting me how well improved this game is. Now this is interesting, I'm at the space station, so I do get the Frontier base as a flyback option. Now when I instigated that hub, it is obviously a card within this travel system, so you can always go back to your Frontier base, no issues. I haven't tested what happens if you have multiple bases however. So I'm kind of lumbered with my Frontier being on a very difficult planet with its storms and weather. No issues though, I cracked straight on, and you've kind of got a bunch of tasks. You need to build the main office, which is like the building that most of your instigation, tasks, management and just all of the action's going to happen from. It's the kind of center base of operations. So, and that doesn't even exist yet. It's kind of like a weird building site, and you're going to have to get that task started. So you'll kind of be gathering 3 sets of things. The first one is just the crap that you find in the ground, pretty easy. But then there's a whole bunch of metal plates, and then there is the microprocessors, which is another 3. Easy stuff really. I went and bought the microprocessors, job done, and getting that whole thing up and running is pretty cool. It kind of doesn't look like any other building within the game map and model itself, and I haven't touched on the extra building units and material that you now have access to with this update. Just grabbing a cheeky storm gem here, that nearly killed me. Look at the state of it. It's like Greta's worst nightmare. This whole planet is just combusting, but we're building anyway. So there's quite a lot of stats behind this update with the Frontier NPCs. You might have seen me having a chat with a guy over there, and everyone's kind of got their mood that they're in, or the task that they're doing is hanging over their heads. That's a great idea, borrowed from a lot of other almost god management games, and this is quite a lot like the settlement stuff that you saw in the Fallout games, especially with Fallout 4. That's the end of the similarities. You can see here I'm doing the final phase. That's kind of the end of all of the tasks and the building's complete. The flames go clean in the building. That's when I was running in that building to cool down rather. It's just still burning me up. It's coming through the floor. Love it. So we finally get the chance to have a butcher's at the inside of the new office, and of course there's a terminal in there, a little NPC friend sitting in the corner, and when you go up to the console, I was offered some decisions on construction about which direction to go in. So immediately you have a fork in the road about how you're going to turn your frontier into something else. This then will have a knock-on effect on the population, improving people's moods, or various citizens might want to go in a different direction. Really interesting stuff, but what I will say, and I've saved this till the end of the video, despite Frontiers being really awesome, it's kind of not my bag, this sort of stuff. Managing a village or making annoying moral decisions on stuff, I hate it, hence the Frostpunk area. But of course, it's more content for a very awesome game. And I wanted to check the update for any visual improvements, just see if there's any changes on algorithm when it comes to spawning in new enemies and planets, all that sort of thing. And yeah, we did see some healthy changes in previous patches, but nothing's really grabbed me by the proverbials yet. I think the next thing I want to see is a beefing up of the Sentinels. That cool mutant Sentinel at the beginning of this piece of content really got me thinking. I remember there being rumours of a Sentinel planet when the first game came out. That would be an amazing idea, a bit like Cybertron, but it's a giant Sentinel. As a patch, this is freaking awesome and huge, 6 GB, and there's also been a little follow-up which has probably mopped up anything that was hanging out from that big piece of content that we've had pushed in. Frontiers may be your thing. I remember the whole Fallout stuff and the settlement thing not being my area, and it didn't matter. I still got on with the game anyway, and it's exactly the same case here. And of course, if you find an amazing planet, which I haven't yet, and you really want to settle on it, and it does have inhabitants or a distress beacon on it, then you've got your cool, literally, city management system laid in place there. So No Man's Sky and Hello Games and Little Sean Murray, thank you. You're still doing it. 3.6, let's keep going. Imagine what Cyberpunk's going to be like at 3.6. Probably not even going to be the same game. It will be DSX 7. Not funny. Of course, I've been Couchcoop, and of course I'll see you down there. Loads more content coming. We got some big games coming out towards, before and around Christmas.